Settle the heart, sweep away the dust, and the Great Dao appears. When the mind is awakened to emptiness, the secret of life is revealed.
The raft broke apart. For days, the winds had battered the flimsy pine logs, tearing at the vines, until there was nothing left to hold them together. The handsome Monkey King had crossed the great ocean. He had arrived in the southern continent, the sprawling, chaotic realm of men. He watched the humans. He learned to wear their clothes, to walk on two legs, and to speak their language. For 8 long years, he wandered through their cities, their markets, and their temples, searching for the immortals who held the secret to endless life. But he found nothing. The humans, he realized, were blind. They rushed through their short lives chasing copper coins and empty titles. They built massive mansions they would eventually die in, and hoarded gold they could not take with them. They were chained to the heavy, endless march of time, completely unaware of the King of Death, waiting at the end of their road. Disgusted by their greed, the Monkey King turned his back on the southern continent. He built another raft. He pushed out into the treacherous waters of the Western Ocean, sailing until he reached a land untouched by human corruption, the Western continent. He wandered into a deep, ancient forest, guided only by the towering peaks of a mist-shrouded mountain. As he walked, he heard a voice, a human woodcutter, swinging his heavy axe, singing a song about magic, deep breathing, and the quiet peace of the universe. The Monkey King rushed forward. "Old Immortal, teach me." The woodcutter laughed. "I am no immortal, little ape. I am just a man chopping wood. But the song I sing was taught to me by someone who is. Follow this path. Deep in the heart of this mountain lies the cave of the slanting moon and 3 stars. There you will find the Patriarch Subodhi." The Monkey King ran until his lungs burned. He found the cave. Inside, sitting on a platform of pure white jade, was the Patriarch Subodhi. His beard was as white as starlight. His presence felt like the vast, unmoving center of the universe. He was a master of the ancient ways. The monkey threw himself to the ground, banging his head against the cold stone floor. "Master, Master, I have crossed 2 oceans to find you. Teach me." The patriarch looked down at the wild, shivering creature. "You are a beast. You have no human parents. You were born from a rock. How can you learn the great mysteries?" "I may be born of stone," the monkey replied, his eyes burning with absolute focus, "but I have a heart and I have a mind." The patriarch stared at him. He saw the chaotic, terrifying potential locked inside this tiny frame. "You have no name. I will give you one. Your surname will be Sun. Your given name will be Wukong, Sun Wukong. In the ancient tongue, it means awakened to emptiness. It is the perfect name for a mind that must be emptied of chaos before it can be filled with magic." For 7 long years, Sun Wukong did not learn a single spell. He swept the courtyard. He carried heavy buckets of spring water. He gathered firewood in the freezing snow and weeded the gardens in the blazing heat. It was a test. A wild, untamed mind cannot hold the power of the universe. It must be broken down. It must learn patience. Then one afternoon, the Patriarch Subodhi gathered his disciples. He looked at Wukong, who had faithfully swept the floors for 7 years. "Wukong," the master asked, What is it you wish to learn? I know the 360 schools of wisdom. I can teach you the magic of reading the stars and predicting the future. Wukong blinked. Will it make me live forever? No, the master said. It will not. Then I won't learn it. Wukong snapped. The other disciples gasped at his disrespect. I can teach you the path of deep thought. The patriarch continued, his voice tightening, to study the ancient scrolls and speak with the silver tongue of the wise. Will it save me from the king of death? Wukong asked. No, the master replied. It is like building a pillar of ice. When the sun rises, it melts away. Then I won't learn it. I can teach you the art of potion making, Patriarch barked, losing his temper. To mix herbs, forge metals, and strengthen your physical body. Will it make me live forever? No. It is like scooping the moon's reflection out of a pond. It is a trick of the eye. Then I won't learn it, Wukong yelled. I only want to live forever. The patriarch's face turned red with fury. He drew a heavy wooden ruler from his robe. He marched down the steps, grabbed Wukong by the collar, and struck him directly on the top of the head. You arrogant ape! The patriarch roared. You refuse the stars. You refuse the scrolls. You refuse the fires. What is it you expect me to teach you? The patriarch threw his hands behind his back, turned away from the stunned students, and stormed into his private rooms. He slammed the middle door shut behind him. The courtyard fell dead silent. The other students swarmed Wukong, cursing him, blaming him for angering the great master. Wukong simply sat on the floor, rubbing his bruised head. But he was not angry. He wasn't crying. He was smiling. The other students were fools. They heard the anger of a teacher, but Wukong, the awakened mind, heard a secret code. The master hit him 3 times. He placed his hands behind his back, and he closed the middle door. 3 strikes meant the 3rd watch of the night, midnight. Hands behind the back and a closed middle door meant Wukong was to use the back entrance. The master had not banished him. He had invited him in secret. That night, when the moon hung high and the rest of the academy was deep in sleep, Wukong crept through the shadows. He reached the back door of the master's rooms. It was left slightly open. He slipped inside. The patriarch was awake, sitting in the dark, waiting. When he saw the monkey, a smile broke through his white beard. Your mind has awakened, the master whispered. Come close. I will give you the secret you seek. I will teach you the formula of the deep breath. How to gather the golden light of the universe. How to fuse the water and the fire within your own soul. I will teach you the true magic. For 3 years, in absolute secrecy, Wukong practiced the forbidden breathing. He changed his very cells. He escaped the ledgers of death. He became truly immortal. But defying the natural order of the universe comes with a terrifying price. One evening, the patriarch pulled Wukong aside. You have stolen endless life, the master warned. But heaven does not allow thieves to keep their prize easily. Because you have defied your fate, the universe will send 3 disasters to destroy you. Wukong's blood ran cold. Disasters? In 500 years, the master said, heaven will send down a heavy lightning bolt to strike you dead. If you survive, 500 years later, a fire will burn you from the inside out, turning your organs to ash. And 500 years after that, a wind will blow through the crown of your head, dissolving your very soul. You must learn to hide from the universe. To protect him, the master taught Wukong the earthly transformations. Wukong learned to rearrange his physical form into 72 different shapes: a pine tree, a bird, a giant. Next, the master taught him to ride the clouds. But Wukong did not just ride them. He mastered the Cloud Somersault. With a single backflip, the Monkey King could travel 108,000 miles in the blink of an eye. He was no longer a beast of the earth. He was a god in monkey form. And with that power came the return of his arrogance. It happened on a bright spring day. The other students were resting under the pine tree. They had heard whispers of Wukong's new magic, and they begged him to show them. "Show us the shape-shifting, Wukong," they cheered. "Turn into a tree." Proud and eager for their applause, Wukong muttered the spell, and right before their eyes, the monkey vanished, replaced by a perfect towering pine tree. The students erupted into cheers. They clapped and shouted. The Patriarch Subodhi stepped out of the shadows. His face was a mask of cold, terrifying fury. "What is this noise?" he demanded. Wukong instantly dropped the disguise, falling to his knees in the dirt. "You fool," the master hissed, his voice practically vibrating with rage. "You think the secrets of the universe are a cheap trick? You think endless life is a toy to show off? If others see you have this power, they will demand you teach them. If you refuse, they will kill you. You have sealed your own fate." The master turned his back. "Go, leave this place. You are no longer my student." Wukong wept. He pressed his face into the dirt. "Master, please, I have nowhere to go. Let me stay to repay your kindness." "You will repay me," the Patriarch said, his voice dropping to a dark, lethal whisper, "by never speaking my name." The master slowly turned his head, looking at Wukong with eyes that held the weight of the night sky. "Your mind is wild, Wukong. I have given you the power of a god, but your nature is still chaos. You will inevitably cause a disaster that shakes the earth. When you do, and the armies of heaven come for you, if you ever whisper a single word about who taught you your magic, I will know. I will find you. I will strip the skin from your bones. I will shatter your soul, and I will banish your spirit to the deepest pit of the underworld for 10,000 years. I won't say a word," he swore. "I will never speak your name. Then go." And just like that, the awakened mind was alone again. He had the power to conquer death, to bend shape and form, to leap across the world. But he had no master, no guide, and no anchor. Subodhi had given a wild beast the weapons of a god, and then released him into the wild. It makes one wonder, fellow travelers. When a student uses their gifts to tear the world apart, where does the blame truly lie? Was Subodhi right to banish Wukong for a single moment of pride? Or is a master responsible for the monster his student eventually becomes? Subodhi demanded absolute silence to protect his own peace, but in doing so, he abandoned a creature who desperately needed guidance. I'll be looking for your judgments in the comments section. Tell me who carries the heavy burden, the chaotic student or the silent master. Wukong formed a cloud under his feet. With a single somersault, he flew 108,000 miles, crossing the oceans in a heartbeat, returning to his beloved mountain of flowers and fruit. He landed before the great waterfall, eager to see his family, eager to show them that he had conquered death. But the air did not smell of sweet plum blossoms. It smelled of blood. It smelled of burning fur. The vines were torn. The trees were shattered. And lying in the dirt were the broken bodies of his monkey subjects. From the shadows stepped a hulking, terrifying shadow, the demon king of confusion. He had invaded the mountain, slaughtered the weak, and enslaved the young while their king was away. The demon held a massive, blood-stained sword. He looked down at the tiny, unarmored monkey who stood before him. Wukong had learned the breath of the universe. He had learned to ride the clouds and change his shape. But as he stared up at the towering monster who had destroyed his home, Wukong realized a terrifying truth. He had spent 20 years learning how to live forever, but he had never learned how to fight. He had no armor. He had no weapon. And the demon was raising his sword. If you're curious to how the Monkey King survived the strike of the demon's blade, listen to the explanation in the next chapter.